Hey, what's up, guys? Max here, and we just finished streaming for like about 3 hours. Part of the stream was to focus on actually reading the updates to the game, something that's coming out in maybe a couple of weeks from this recording. It's set to come out as of March. So in game we saw all this. We went into the forums, we went in there and said an update balance of MCOC, COC. If you want to see it, look at the stream. It should be on my page where you can see like a live reaction to the comments. So I held back from reading. I not the entire thing. I read like a big portion of it, like about maybe this much of it, before I jumped on stream and actually read the entire post and followed with a bunch of other questions and Kabam answers inside there. So I just wanted to give kind of like a perspective. It's really unknown. A lot of assumptions since we don't really have this in game yet of what is it actually going to do to the future of the game. But overall, I think I spent like about an hour and a half into really just like reading and observing what this update to the game means to me and to my account, and to possibly, and again say for sure, but possibly the way and direction that I take my account towards when it comes to MCOC and how I perceive MCOC just as a game for me. So it's a very long post. I think you should take the time and read it thoroughly or just entirely yourself, just to form your own opinion. You can't really go based on someone else's opinion about this, even mine. So I'm just kind of sharing mine, right? But you shouldn't definitely based your opinion based off of mine. But sometimes we have very common grounds on how we feel, and if there's a common situation feeling, definitely share it. And if you feel a certain way or very strongly, I think Kabam at the end of this post asked for feedback. So definitely share it, post your comments because they're reading all the posts. Um, after reading everything, it was definitely a lot to read and a lot to take in. A lot of questions were still left in my head, kind of like unanswered, of how they were going to be doing certain things. How are they going to be changing? One of the biggest things was, are they going to change the value of the crystal? Like, because the idea of them being able to tune back a champion or tune up a champion when they're actually selling the champions for like pre-early access bundles for cash, and then also selling the champion in a form of a crystal through units, which then is cash, ideally, being used in certain cases to buy the crystals. How are they going to deal with that? Because they have now, honestly, with this new update to the game, they have full access to for them to do any changes to a champion within that time period that they have established. And if I didn't mistakenly read this, it says after release, the champion live data will be reviewed for 3 months. This is not the new edition, but has only been okay. So it's always been done that, but changes will go live to the beta server for 2 months. There will be another feedback. So from my understanding, I think if I maybe misread this again, just kind of like looking over, I think we're looking at 3 month wait time. After going back and like really kind of reading back the thing, it's actually 6 months. So we're looking at a 6 month period from when the champion gets released to then being actually seeing what the champion's going to look like forever in our game. And that is the window of Kabam having where they're going to be able to basically change the champion in the direction that they feel is appropriate according to their new rating system. Very sketchy situation, honestly, overall, if you're buying champions for cash, guys. I would really warn, this is my feelings. Again, this is just my personal opinion. I would warn, if you're going to be buying champions for cash starting March, be very eerie about doing that. I know it's gonna be very tempting because we're gonna see, I honestly, and I can almost guarantee, we're gonna see some really enormous great champions being added to our game this year. The developers, it seems on the post that the developers are being able to release, like take their gloves off and like go ham on creating champions the way they want to create it. It seems like maybe they were held back. Again, I can't really say that's the case. But this is the way I took or interpreted the comments or the post that was said. The developers were held back because of some interactions that were being from your champion that they released. It wasn't perfect, or they couldn't do this because they wouldn't be able to change it in the future. But now that they can and have an option to do changes within 6 months, they are able to release anything they want, whatever way they want. And if we somehow find a way that it's not as intended or maybe abused, then they're going to go back and tune it down. So the idea there is that any now champion that you buy and are invested possible thousands of dollars into it might be tuned down. So they're giving you and myself a warning, and I'm reading it, guys. The way I'm taking this is I'm taking as a strong warning. Is like, hey Max, by the way, if you buy this champion, I'm letting you know right now. Dragonite, thanks so much for the sub, man. I'm letting you know right now that this champion has a chance of, I don't know the percentages, I don't know how they're gonna work this out, but it has a chance of this champion being toned down, nerfed, whatever you want to call it. But and it sucks, so is he still going to be a good champion? Possibly. But is it going to be the same champion that he came out initially? Might not be. The other option you have to, the way to look at this, is go out and get the champion and do content that needs to be done immediately. Like Kabam has ideally like about a 6-month period. They won't do it immediately. They might do it immediately, but they might be releasing champions that are game breaking. And if you have not completed content, or if Kabam come out with new content to do, you might be able to get it and do it immediately. Again, that's going to cost a lot of units, because first you got to get the champion, rank them up, and then go in there and smash some content done before they go out and bring down that champion, nerf the champion down. So there's multiple ways of looking at this. That's already one idea, but a very expensive idea. I wouldn't go out there and do it, because honestly, it wouldn't be worth it. But I know a lot of people are thinking about that. It's just, shoot, it crossed my head. I'm thinking about it, but I'm not doing it. So yeah, my honest, to summarize my opinion, what I took out of this is definitely that Kabam has an option now to basically nerf a champion or buff the champion, but I think it's mainly for nerfing. I don't really think, I think there's been a few scenarios, a few champions, if I can count maybe 3 that maybe weren't created as intended, but didn't get buffed. Because there's no way of buffing a champion right now or nerfing a champion immediately. So I think it's always been a very touchy moment, a situation where the community really uprises if Kabam nerfs a champion after its release, right? Because like, what about the testing? What if all this that you did before releasing the champion? So this also kind of lets us know that maybe some testing goes into it, but not really deep testing, because we've seen it before. We get a lot of champions that get released, and then it's like, whoa, we didn't mean to have all that interaction go into place. So now there's a way for Kabam to kind of tune back some champions. And again, this is very looking at the negative side of things. The positive side of this is that Kabam will be updating and changing champions to make them better if they come out kind of like not so good, right? So I think that's kind of possibly the upside of this. And then keep in mind too that none of the champions also that have been released prior to March of 2022 are going to be touched. This is only going into effect to the champions that are after March of 2022. So anything that gets released new to the game as of March is what has a chance to be nerfed, buffed, whatever the situation is. So again, it's just, after spending the time, if you're curious, I think I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing for the game. I just think that for me and my own way of playing the account, it's going to be a more cautious way of actually chasing champions or wanting to get a champion. I am more considering of waiting. I don't have to rush to get like right now in game. So to give you a scenario, right now in game, we have a Cav Crystal. At the moment, You see there's an option to get Soren or to get Toad as a sub feature out of this crystal, and the chances of getting him out of this crystal are currently 0.30%. But the fact knowing that, let's say this is March now, this crystal is out there, I buy it, and then there's a chance that I get the champion, or I go all in to try to get a 6-star champion, and I'm spending, hundreds to thousands of dollars to try to get this champion, which is insane because there is a chance to get buffed or nerfed. Um, I feel like it's more like 80% nerf, 20% buff if I had to give percentages on how I think the game is going to look at things, or might not even be touched at all. Who knows? And that's the unknown is where we're more afraid of, right? But I feel like I would rather know 100% that this champion won't be touched, and I'm willing to wait 6 months. Once a champion gets released, I am willing to wait 6 months before I decide to go for that champion again. And there's going to be multiple ways of definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if Kabam releases another rework of the crystal. So the champion gets released. Let's just call it, March, like they did an example. And then come late August, the champion is officially not being able to touch because that is the way it was intended. I wouldn't be surprised if Kabam releases a crystal and saying, hey, now that the champion is as intended, the guys that passed on the first 6 months didn't want to play the champion or want to get the champion, you have an option to do so now. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do something like that. And that's when if there's a champion that I personally like or think he would be a great addition to my account, then I would go for it. But trying to get every single crystal or every single champion, and like I used to prior years, I am definitely stepping way back and saying no to that. So that's just me, the way I'm going to be playing my account. My account's pretty stacked when it comes to champions at the moment. But coming this year, 2022, I'm not going to be grabbing a lot of the champions that are being released this year, especially with that new update that the game is doing. So, will that stump the growth of my account? It will. It's going to slow it down a whole lot, but that is okay. I am very comfortable with my account being slowed down. Now, again, I know my focus is around prestige. If you guys already know it, it's around prestige. It's not really on Alliance War or other areas of the game. Incursions at the moment, like one of those to name another area. um so if there is a top 5 contender for prestige, that is probably my only concern when it comes to like, they didn't mention prestige in the post, but they did mention, like, I think it was 3 options like damage, sustainability, certain things that they're going to be focusing on. I didn't say prestige. So if a champion does come out to be the top 5 and they don't work out the prestige to lower it, then I would probably do go for that champion again. And that is mainly to help my account grow its prestige, but also to help the alliance that I'm in, which is relaxed, to help the prestige as well. So that's probably the only clause to my way of playing the game that I'm holding back completely from really spending or buying cav crystals. And that's where you really spend a whole lot of money, and that adds up through weeks and weeks of just playing the game. So be very cautious. I guess it's a little bit of a warning to any player out there that buys a lot of cav crystals. Come March, be careful. So but it is your account. You do and decide how you want to play it, the risk you want to take. It's all up to you, and that's kind of the beautiful thing about this game, is you can play your account whatever way you want, and take it in whatever direction you want, and it's not gonna hurt. You know, it's not gonna hurt you. It's not gonna kill your account. You can do anything you want with your account. So that's the fun part. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to give a final note on my ideas and thoughts on it, and how I fell in the direction kind of that I want to take the game and playing from now on, knowing that's coming around the corner in March. So that's it for now. Guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoy the stream or just this video, but let me know your thoughts. If you want to leave them in the comments, I'll read them. I can share maybe some with Kabam as a feedback if you wanted to share that way. But their posts and their forums are probably a good area to go, as long as it doesn't, because I saw it I thought it was funny as a meme, but then I just started thinking, I was like, okay, it's getting sidetracked. As long as you stay on subject about the issue or your concerns, the feedback is going to be read by Kabam, because they're really looking forward to how the community is going to take this. But again, they can't really see besides ideas and how we're feeling at the moment because it's not live and the changes haven't gone into effect. I think we're going to see that at the end of the year, guys. How you're really feeling when they tune down the champion. But for me, for now, that is it. Will this work for the game? Is it going to improve the game? We don't know. I assume that's from their history of knowledge of other games. They're saying that it is. So I guess it will. I know a lot of the communities too. Some players don't like overpowered champions. I get it. It does get boring and get stale to have one champion like a Hercules just steamroll through everything. But it is also fun. So I guess, guys, I hope you enjoy my thoughts on this. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Peace. Be safe.